Hey y'all, my name is Jen. I think I have 5 subscribers on YouTube. On Instagram I go by Dreaming in Multichrome, and I have 1,500 people who follow me. It's a small community, but I am part of the indie makeup community. I started this YouTube because I wanted to call out some tomfoolery that was happening with brands. I had planned on doing some shorts and talking about the brands that I was no longer supporting. Today I'm here to talk about something a little different. If you're here, thank you. Bear with me as I get through this. I am not a beauty tuber. I do not have 1.4 million followers. I'm not in this for PR. I just love indie makeup. The reason why I love indie makeup, and I'm gonna do my makeup because I need to do something while I talk about this. So bear with me. I am not set up for this kind of thing, but we're gonna get through it. The reason why I'm coming today, and one of the things that I want to talk about, is a beloved brand to me. A brand that I have supported for years and own everything. When I started my series, this brand was not on the list of people that I had ever planned to talk about. And the fact that I'm here today on such a big topic is also not something that I had planned to talk about. I will try to put in the description all of the things that I'm using, but I am doing my makeup to get through this today because, quite honestly, it is incredibly stressful. So, again, I had intended to do some short videos talking about some brand tomfoolery that I thought needed to be called out. I love indie makeup. I love the indie community, and it got me through a really, really dark time in my career. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I am not going to use this palette though. I'm going to use another one. I am creating a look for a collab that I am doing on Instagram. So the collab is with the letter O, so everything we're using has the letter O. So today I'm going to use the Odens Eye and another special shade, but bear with me as I get through this. So this is the Verdandi palette, and I really wanted this peachy color. So I've been a nurse for many years. I loved being a nurse. I say past tense because I loved being a nurse. It was part of my identity. It was part of what made me who I am. I loved caring for people. I loved the science between nursing. I loved being a nurse. I never wanted to be more than a nurse. I was always very happy with being a nurse. And then COVID happened. I don't have to tell y'all what happened to us or what happened because you guys lived through it. We went from being heroes to being hated. And part of why we were hated was because this pandemic got turned into a political divide. It got turned into something so much uglier and nastier than what it once, what it should have been, which was a very scary pandemic. One thing that people may probably not know about me is that Instagram really is my main platform, but I also have a TikTok. On my TikTok, it is not makeup content, but I was one of the many nurses who joined the throes of the internet to try to combat the medical misinformation and the propaganda that was being spewed on a daily basis. It was every day, you know, we would get online and see people. I promise this gets back to makeup. I promise, just bear with me. Every day we would get online and see more and more people just pandering to the fear, pandering to the anti-government, pandering to the right-wing extremist conspiracies, and many of my colleagues and myself took to social media. It was the only thing we could do to say, like, no, you guys, the science behind this is real, and, you know, pay attention, look at what's happening around us, and look at the world and how it's falling apart. I also want to say that the topic of COVID and the COVID vaccine and this pandemic is incredibly triggering to me. The one thing I've always kept separate is my makeup life, and it was my happy place. And even if friends would come to me and talk to me about COVID or having COVID, most of the time I would say, like, this topic is very triggering for me. Like, honestly, I don't want to know your conservative beliefs if you have them, because I still want to be able to be friends with you. I don't want to get into a debate about the vaccine or getting the vaccine or wearing a mask. Let's talk about the makeup. And so, makeup world was my happy place. It was separate from all of that chaos and the stuff that was happening in our day-to-day lives. It's a triggering topic for me. I don't know if I'm quite ready for the potential backlash that is going to come from creating something like this. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for it, but I know that enough people are talking about it behind the scenes, but they are not talking about it in public, and I understand why. And so I'm here to do that because I think it's the right thing to do. So bear with me, because we are going to get into how this relates to my series, this video, and why I'm here today to talk about the topic I'm here to talk about. I paused so that I could do my eye and show y'all what I'm using. I'm using Terra Moons Ophiuchus and another shadow, which I'll share in a minute. Why am I using Terra Moons? Well, because I'm here to talk about Terra Moons. Terra Moons has been sneak peeking a collab with a creator on Instagram who has 1.4 million followers. It's not an indie creator. It is a makeup creator. She has a YouTube platform, a TikTok, and Instagram. Instagram seems to be her largest, and at first glance, she appears to be somebody who uses mostly mainstream makeup, bebops to music, and puts on her makeup. All fine, well, and good, right? except this creator used her incredibly large platform during the pandemic to continue to spread what I call harmful propaganda. What am I talking about? What exactly am I talking about? Well, there was a highlight of Freedom Convoy conversation. There was a lot of liking and sharing of anti-mask, anti-government rhetoric. Just kind of pandering to the fear of what everybody was going through at the time, which is one person's opinions or views have to do with anything of what I'm saying. My issue really comes in because you're called an influencer because you have influence. This rhetoric is incredibly harmful. Incredibly harmful. It's scary. It's why, people were getting more and more and more riled up, is because the war that was happening on social media was absolutely 100% information related and misinformation guided. And I just think that as a influencer, I did a little much there. As an influencer, you have a responsibility to take care with the information you're sharing on a very public platform and not pander to the fear. And those are her personal beliefs, right? So as all of this is upcoming and they're about to launch, this gets out. People start to talk about this beauty tuber and the harmful rhetoric that she has shared on social media. And all of a sudden, the social media account gets scrubbed. So all of the pages that she was following that are problematic are gone. Which, fine, but if that is your belief system and you stand behind those beliefs, then stand behind those beliefs. Like, the fact that her social media is now scrubbed is, to me, very telling. It was full of anti-government, right-wing, extremist. I don't know about full. Full is probably not the right word. But it was certainly shared. Those beliefs were certainly values, and they were certainly shared with a very large audience on Instagram. So part of this got spilled on Reddit, and I did have a conversation with the brand, and I do not believe that they were aware, which I find interesting. Do I know that for sure? No. Maybe Terramoons is very aware of the conservative beliefs and just thinks, 1.4 million followers, this will be a good person to come out with a collab with. Maybe they share similar values. I don't know. We don't know these brands. They aren't, you know, they're not sharing their personal beliefs with us. Does it matter? Does their personal belief, do they matter? I don't know. Only you can answer that question about what matters to you. Coming out and talking about this is not, it's not fun. I love Terra Moons. I love the shadows they create. They include some of my friends in PR. They remember all different types of people. They're inclusive. I just find it hard to believe that they do share these same beliefs. And maybe they do. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Do politics and makeup mix? No, not really. Not really. And should they? No, not really. They shouldn't. It should just be about the makeup. My problem comes in when you've used your 1.4 million person platform to spread misinformation. And on Reddit, on the Reddit thread, somebody, I don't know who this somebody is, they said they were not crystal clear makeup, but speaking for her on her behalf, or like they knew her, they said that crystal clear makeup is not an anti-vaxxer, anti-masker, and that she has had stories showing herself wearing a mask. Great. Everybody should have, you know, in the height of the pandemic, was the right thing to do. And that she does not believe in the vaccine because she made that decision because her child almost died during an MMR vaccine. I am not here to get into a conversation about what your medical provider recommends to you, or is best for you. Only you can make that decision. But I can say that that is very clearly what somebody would say if they were trying to minimize the fact that they were just spent a year online pandering to the anti-vax movement and anti-mask movement and educators for human rights and Freedom Convoy 2022 and Canada Rising because they're going to take back their government. Just this incredibly harmful rhetoric that is incredibly harmful. It just is. It just is. This is harmful stuff to be posting online and to be sharing and to be pandering to a very scared world. It's just not a good look. I do know that I personally believe that I may have been the first person to tell Terra Moons about the stuff that I found to be harmful online. I hope that they will allow me to shop from them in the future. I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm curious to see what the community thinks of this situation. I'm deeply saddened that this is the person that they have chosen to collaborate with. I think that there are so many people in the indie space who may not have 1.4 million followers, but would have been like on brand to collab with. I think it's a strange collab. I know that PR is about to be sent out because they are all sharing about it and talking about it and sneak peeking it and launch, and all of that is very exciting. I'm going to be donating my money to a cause that combats medical misinformation, and I will be holding out and skipping out on this purchase. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. I don't know what Terra Moons is going to think of me today, but I know that the medical misinformation that has been spread has harmed us all. And whether you believe that or not, I don't care. It has certainly harmed me. It's made me question everything. Everything. And I think that's really all I can say about it. Yeah. I think that's all I can say about it. I'm going to take a moment, finish my makeup, and then I'll come back and see if I have any final thoughts to add to this conversation. In the end, I think what I want to say is that I know that Terra Moons is a beloved brand. Terra Moons has been a beloved brand to me. I know that a lot of people are going to be supportive and very excited, and that only you can decide what is best for you. But I know for me, it does not feel like the right thing to do to support a creator with 1.4 million followers who has spread what I find to be incredibly harmful medical misinformation at a time when the world needed her to keep her opinions to herself and figure it out on her own. I hope that Terra Moons does not share the same sentiments as this person. And I'm just kind of deeply saddened by the whole thing. I, of course, worry, will Terra Moons sell to me in the future, or will they somehow blacklist me? I can tell you I will probably never get PR, but I can also tell you that my integrity, what I have been going through personally, professionally over the last 3 years, has also been pretty profound. And yeah, this won't be something I will be supporting. Instead, I will take the same amount of money of this release and I will be donating it to a organization I will link in this video if you want to donate to them as well. But it is an organization that combats medical misinformation on a daily basis. And I hope you guys all have a great week. Thanks for watching.